the show begin. Next generation for the win. We're going all in. All together now, let's begin. Let the show begin.
Hi, everybody. I want to take you on a little bit of a journey here. So if you'll indulge me, we're in New York. It's New Year's Eve, 1977. Grace Jones has a birthday party at Studio 54. The club opened up 6 months earlier, but it's already legendary. So are the waiting lines to get in. All the who's who are there. Bianca and Mick Jagger, Elton John, Donna Summer, of course. Neil Rogers and Bernie Edwards from the band Chic, they're invited. They walk through the crowd, everybody knows who they are, heading towards the door, and they look forward to an epic night until they stand in front of the bouncer. The bouncer, won't budge. Everybody says, "Come on, man, this is the guys from Chic." No reaction. The duo had to go home. Full of rage and rejection, they sit in Neil's kitchen and they write this song, about standing in line and being rejected. And they call the song "Fuck Off." Knowing the lack of commercial value of a song with a title like that, at least in those days, they changed the song's title to Le Freak, which was the song that we just heard. Of course, the rejection became the biggest hit of their life. Great song. Studio 54 became the cultural hub for celebrities and artists. That club influenced musical trends. It was also the place where people from all over society came and live out all their darkest secrets. Studio 54 was the stage that helped shape the intersection of fashion, music, and celebrity culture. Further down on Manhattan, on something called 315 Bowery Street, people who didn't fit into society, they danced to a different beat. People who thought that they were dumb and had a low IQ, they loved to go to this club. It was so small that when you walked in, you had to reverse out. Like somebody opened up a club in their living room. Toilets had no doors, place smelling of sweat, piss, and beer. Blondie said it was so hard to focus because the place smelled so bad. But this was the place that where different actually was celebrated. This was CBGB. CBGB, it was a weirdness magnet. People who were anti-establishment, do-it-yourself rebellion to everything mainstream, they were here. They looked bad, they smelled bad, and they were all basically rejects. This fostered bands like Blondie, Talking Heads, Ramones, and it was the birthplace of punk. CBGB was the stage and a cultural gathering spot for artists, poets, musicians, misfits, intellectuals, and they all celebrated musical experimentation. Across the Atlantic, in Berlin, a new scene emerged where misfits danced to a different beat. People in Berlin in the 70s, they were freed from expectations. It was also full of artists, transvestites, troublemakers, and rejects who didn't care about anything really. This melting pot of weirdness became the base for Neue Deutsche Welle, a new style of electronic that we just heard, punk, new wave, stuff like that. This was just a place that David Bowie needed to clean up his act, from alcohol and cocaine addiction and all this kind of stuff. And during this time, for 2 years, he had his most productive period of his life. He did 3 albums and produced another 2 in all but 2 years, And they were all era-defining stuff. Berlin attracted not only, of course, Bowie, but also Brian Eno, Iggy Pop, and a whole bunch of other people. And it was a bit like Paris in the 20s that attracted, intellectuals, and artistic freedom. People from all over the world, they just came there to gather and exchange ideas. Studio 54, CBGB, and Berlin became the new Renaissance powerhouses, a counterculture hotspot, a modern Florence, if you like, because of the gathering of all these wonderful artists where freedom was the main currency. And in Cape Town today, we're dancing to a different beat. Say whatever you want about Africa, but we've got a lot of cracks, so creativity can flow a lot there. During lockdown, I felt that I wanted to dedicate my remaining time here to maybe do something different and primarily do something for the next generation. I could somehow relate to the confusion, anger, and distorted hope amongst young people. All the wonderful promises that we gave them about, the information age and technology, it was all robbed by greed. Instead of the promised land, I felt, we gave them Pinocchio's pleasure island. We partied for a while, we did whatever we wanted, but a lot of us turned into donkeys. I needed a spark.
Think you can stop what we do? I doubt it. We've got the energy, we'll tell you all about it. I searched for my spark and I found it. Everybody in the crowd start bouncing.
I thought maybe, just maybe, I could be some sort of a little bit of a bridge to the next generation. So we set out to start a place just like that, where creativity could thrive and the next generation could feel at home, sort of like a Studio 54 for entrepreneurs. So I drew from my experience as DJ for 10 years and club owners that I also was, and I thought a place maybe where creating was more important than competing. Florence for the new age in Africa maybe, a place where everyone's safe to take risks, safe enough to be unsafe. A place where talent, capital, and ideas have sex. We call the place Innovation City, a take on the legendary studio Sound City. A place where South Africa's largest corporates now have their home. Investors rub shoulders with, change makers and startups and scale-ups and crazy people. Because I always thought that, at the end of the day, any venture is always about how to make people dance. So let's look at that. What are the ingredients that you need to create a place like this? Well, first of all, you need a great venue. You need to be able to hide if you want to do that. You need to be able to sneak away. If you need to do something, you need to be able to have some meetings. It should be casual, but it should also be able to be formal. And it should be a place where your mind can have a field trip. Of course, you need great music. You need a great DJ. Music in our world, in this case, is our content. We have master classes, fireside chats. We do all this kind of stuff for all our community members and people from all over the world. We've done at least 450 events in 2 years. Thousands of people from literally all over the world come to visit. And also WiT Africa, thank God, now has its home with us. So we're very happy about that. And, young people can drink from Sihun's fire hose there. And of course, yeah. So when you create a community, it's very, very important to have a bar. Because after all, the bar is the lubricant of all social interactions today. Our lubricant in this case is the engagement that we have with all our community members. And our managers, they know all the members by name. We know their needs and their wants and exactly what they're looking for and what problems that they're trying to solve. And of course, what would this be if we don't have great people? The best clubs are always by invitation only. We observe a no asshole policy. We look for givers, not takers. No consultants, of course. No sweaty networkers. We like people to be weird and crazy, and we like them to be innovators. But maybe, most important when you do something like this, you know, and maybe the most undervalued person in a venture like this is who finally decides who's in and who's out. And that's, of course, this bloody bouncer again. So we believe that a rejection is very, very important. You can either get bitter or you get better. So when somebody gives you a fuck off, it might actually be the invitation to the biggest hit in your life. So with that, I want to say welcome next year in March to WiT Africa. I think it's the 14th, 12th and 13th of March. Welcome to Innovation City, where we have WiT Africa for the second time. It's going to be awesome. Thank you so much. And with that, I want to say thank you for this wonderful day. Escape the shit life syndrome.
They're ready now. Let the show begin. Next generation for the win. We're going all in. Take center stage now. Let's begin. Let the show